Hello everyone, welcome to Saturday Narrator, my YouTube channel. In this episode of Saturday Narrator, I am interviewing Paul John Phillip, Assistant Professor in the Department of Public Administration in Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Tamil Nadu, India. This interview with Paul is focusing on his academic and professional journey. He is also sharing his thoughts on India's public policy. I welcome everyone to this conversation. Hello, Paul. Welcome to Saturday Narrator. Thanks for coming. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, Anup. How are you doing?
Yeah, all well.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me today. It's great to see you after a long time. And
Yeah,
hi to all the viewers as well.
yeah. So this is a new initiative that I have started, and I think you are the first person to have a virtual dialogue with me.
Okay. That's so great. It's actually a privilege for me to be the first one to inaugurate the show. And thanks for the opportunity, Anup.
Okay, Paul. My first question is, what attracted you to public policy and public administration?
Yes, Anup, I have a background in zoology, and what I would say is like in zoology, what we were taught is how the animals survive in hostile environment or ecosystem. So, in public policy is no much different, I suppose, in the sense that how we the citizens survive the bureaucracy. That is what we learn in public policy. In that sense, there is no much of a difference, but. Jokes apart, what I would say is like uh, in public policy, there is sort of a problem orientation. Just like for that matter, there is a lot of pathology, bureaucratic pathology, red tape, or supply side moral hazard, or fiscal leakages. These turned out to be far more intriguing and interesting than any parasite I found under a microscope. So, in that sense, this problem orientation and there is attracted of the discipline, this nature of the discipline attracted me towards it. And of course, there is some in biology, in my zoology background, there's something called as invasive species, if you remember. These are the species that can destabilize the entire biome. So in public policy also there is something similar. When as poorly drafted, say for example, a fiscal regulation can act as an invasive species that can destabilize the entire economy. So if you don't get the governance habitat correct, no amount of biological genius can save us. So there is an analogy there. So it's a natural sequence from zoology to public policy, I suppose, of the time. Then again, it is some sort of impact it can generate. It can act as an instrument of transformation. Public policy can act as an instrument of transformation. So for very many reasons, I love this subject, and we can reach out to the last, lost, and the least, most in very many ways. So yes,
So when did
that
you
brought me
decide
here.
actually after zoology, doing a bachelor's in zoology, BSc, when did you exactly decide that this is your calling or this is like your pathway?
Uh, there is one. I cannot recollect an exact point in time where I have decided to shift my ways to public policy, but I never used to like a lab, biology lab for that matter. It was a negative motivation rather than a positive motivation in some sense.
Okay.
So I thought, why don't I expand my base of action into societal lab rather than restricting it to a micro level. So that was probably after my zoology in the third year of zoology, somewhere around. I had interaction with one of my teachers there, who was also a faculty in LSE, London School of Economics. She was a faculty in my university at that point in time. I got to interact with her. I was impressed by the way she put things in perspective. So yes, it turned out such interactions actually pushed me, served as a push factor or a pull factor rather into the subject.
Okay. For pursuing your master's, you went all the way from Kerala to Jammu and Kashmir. So that's the place where both of us met also, accidentally. That's the place where we met. So it's Central University of Jammu, to be precise. So how did you select that place and like it? We have cleared the entrance, and of course that's the process. But how did you select that university particularly?
Uh, it's sort of an accident, maybe. I've applied in very different places, but it started as an accident, but ended up as a blessing where I met great people of your ilk, and where I have learned a lot of things like how to stay adaptable, flexible, how to synthesize knowledge, and all other things, and. There is some when I one of the major learning I would be something like living in Jammu taught me that India is not sort of a monolith. You know, it's sort of a vibrant mosaic and all. So you anything that works well in Kerala may not be working good in Jammu, right? So the administrative apparatus is different. People's expectations and requirement needs are different. So. So you cannot prescribe one medicine for the whole country in a single room. So that is sort of an understanding I received being there. So obviously, times in Jammu and in other places, obviously, I was sort of a stranger in a strange land for some time, but that was also a crash course in resilience, I suppose. We had been there together during article abrogation, if you remember. We had been there during that
Pulwama,
COVID pandemic. Yeah,
COVID
yeah.
pandemic, yes.
Pulwama, Pulwama.
Multiple
So,
events like there.
correct. Correct. So it was sort of a course in resilience, how to build my worldview, what is my identity, and what is my role in the world, what is my place in the world. All these things were shaped during my time there as well. So these obviously being in different places helps us strip away our biased thinking or the Rockial blinkers and all other things and develop that elasticity in our thinking and acceptance, adopt, and all other things, right? So. Yeah, it was started as an accident, but turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
Okay, so since I am coming from a like a national security background, I just want to know how can we interlink, or is there any connection between public policy and national security? How can we integrate it?
Well, I would say national security, the times have gone where we thought of national security as a fence and public policy as the in-house business things, you know,
So you kind of
where
integrated it there.
Yes. Like it's no more guns and gates. National security is no more guns and gates. It has to deal with almost every vulnerabilities in the social fabric, right? So the public policy, if at all the public policy fails to address a healthcare or economic despair, it creates an internal fissure, right? And that are just as dangerous as an external threat. So. That is where so public policy, national security, all these are very much interlinked and meshed and all. Obviously, there's a defense, as you know, is an expensive business. You need to know there should be a custodian of purse, and public policy makers and finance department. All these people are the custodian of the purse. So we must analyze and maybe opportunity cost of. Putting say for I mean opportunity cost of every tank purchased versus maybe a school built or a hospital built. So strategic policy ensures we are fiscally fit.
Okay.
Hello,
But
am I there?
yeah, I cannot see you,
Yeah,
but our voice is there.
yeah.
Now
I
it's
hope
coming.
I'm back. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
again. Yeah.
yeah. Am I still there or
Audible, but visual is not there. Again, you
okay?
can.
It's
Yeah,
skipping again. Okay.
fine.
Okay.
I think there is a technical
So
glitch.
anyway,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
can
these
continue the conversation.
interactions are there everywhere, right? So this we were talking about that thing. So yeah, we need we were talking about this bridging public policy and in this national security, I suppose. So
Yeah.
uh, these yeah, I think there is a lot of glitches. I cannot even see the screen now.
Now
Yeah,
it's
it is.
okay. Now I can see you. I think again you are gone, but
Okay,
the audio is okay.
Let's continue with
We'll
the
continue.
question
We'll
anyway.
continue. Yeah. Audio is clear, so we can continue.
Yes, sir. You can go to the next question, please.
Okay. So, Paul, as you have done your master's and PhD in public policy, can you just remember some of the subjects, key subjects that were taught, and how was your learning experience of that?
Masters, obviously, I would say it's sort of but the subject was revolving around the broad architecture of the state, and while PhD was more or less into the, let's say, specific social element. So, uh,
Yeah, you can
yeah.
continue.
Yeah, and there was we masters. We went ahead with the topics such as administrative theory, comparative public administration, public financial administration, national security. Some in some public policy courses they might take a little bit talk about national security as well. Maybe in Indian administration, constitutional law, all these things were taught. Whereas in PhD, it is more of a research methodology, maybe econometrics, bit of econometrics, quantitative analytics, analysis, evaluation, impact evaluation, maybe a paper in ethics and governance. If you, but that is not enough for a PhD. You might need to go do your area specific. Say, for example, if you are doing a research on inequality, you might need an inequality analysis techniques. You must you that where you need to go expand the base of your action by attending different workshops and all other things, and then that will help work out your PhD.
Okay. Now we see like there are many students and aspirants for this UGC NET examination to clear the JRF. So, as a student who had already cleared it, do you have any strategies or study tips that can be shared so that it can help the aspirants?
It's like it's been long since I cleared. It's been maybe 6 7 years that syllabus has changed. The requirement might be different. Even we are living in a time of AI where the strategy should also be changed. So I don't think that I am the correct person because I find it very difficult to guide the next generation because their requirement is completely different from my understanding of the world. So, however, what I would say is like data is available everywhere. Now we have a lot of data. You just need to know what exactly to look at, be
Yeah.
focused on the syllabus, and be, I mean, that refining process is much more required now. So, and practice, keep practicing a few previous year questions. And for the first paper, obviously, that will help because their pattern is similar all throughout. And second paper, you might need to have some grounding in the subject. But definitely, when somebody who is sincere about it, a person who is sincere about who has a genuine interest in the subject will definitely clear over time. It's not a big deal.
Okay. So you have lived in different geographies within India, like from starting from Kerala, then from there to Jammu and Kashmir, from there to Rajasthan. So there is a huge contrast. So how was your analysis about India's public policy or like the possibilities, the challenges, the opportunities? How do you, in a nutshell, can you explain it?
I would say the challenge. See, there's one guy called Fredericks. Fredericks used to talk about this India, call India as a prismatic society, whereas in where exists both advanced society features as well as traditional society features. So that is both an opportunity as well as a threat, I suppose. So I have experienced, I've been through this as a lived experience rather than a matter in the textbook. Even as I traveled across this country. So what I would say is like there is a opportunity. This diversity, while it is a fact, there is an opportunity for competition as well as cooperation. The federalism needs to be competitive as well as cooperative. We need to leverage the elements, components of competition as well as advantages of competition as well as cooperation. And obviously, I understand there's a challenge of administrative scale. We have states with population larger than most of the European nations, right? So there's a sheer bureaucratic scale distance between maybe a capital city and a remote place in the state. So this often leads to a implementation gap, and so these are the challenges. But then the solution would be hyper localization. Again, more of the grassroots empowerment and more of the bottom up governance. All these things would by by strengthening maybe panchayats and other local bodies with sort of a genuine financial autonomy can help us can solve this issue of sheer bureaucratic scale. And again, we need to leverage on data integration and human capital. Yes, we are in a time of demographic dividend in the point of history. So let it not slip through. Let it not be a demographic disaster. And for that we need to have sort of administrative reforms in the right direction, which prioritizes some sort of performance and specialization. And these bureaucrats should not just be rule keepers, they should be sort of a problem solvers, I suppose.
So I'm really happy that you also got an opportunity with Niti Ayog as a fellow and you worked in Attapadi. So can you share the experience? How was the selection process in Niti Ayog, the onboarding process, and how was the work culture there, the interactions that you had with the district administration? Can you just summarize those experiences?
See, most fellowship, including this aspirational block program, require this postgraduate degree. Then you must have some background in any social sciences discipline. Even there are people from sciences as well. So, the key is showing your academic muscles and as well as applied real world understanding of different thematic area that the program covers.
Okay.
Have some quantitative things that would help again for your understanding of the data dashboard and real-time governance and all of the things. So now then uh, the selection process is slightly competitive, but then there would be again the screening of application, then there would be written assessment, then there would be a personal interview or a GD or something. But someone who has basic minimum experience of our social world can easily navigate it, I suppose. So my experience there would be something like in the morning you need to talk to a district collector, and afternoon you need to go talk to a person in the self-help group, a woman in the self-help group. So you need to know their language, and you need to be adaptable, and you need to be quick, and you need to bring about convergence between different departments that are having a lot of bureaucratic inertia. Your role is to serve as a liaison officer, maybe at the maximum. You don't have, sometimes you don't have power, but you have to act as an agent of change, and you need to facilitate things rather than steer things.
Okay. And finally, I just want to congratulate you for becoming an assistant professor now in the Department of Public Policy in Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development in Tamil Nadu. It's like a moment when I also felt really happy that finally, like, it's a new beginning for you and as a professional. So, congratulations, Paul, and thank you for associating with Saturday Narrator. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Anup, and it has been a genuine pleasure being with you today. And what you're doing is really appreciable. And let us all create, a community of people who are interested in public policy issues. And in the Saturday Narrator is indeed an effort in that direction, I suppose. I congratulate you, and I thank all the listeners and audience for your patient listening. Thank you.
Okay, Paul. Bye.